At the end of our OpenHPI's course about cyber threats by malware, we have to discuss protective measures. We have seen there are so many different types of malware. What can be done to protect the own systems, the laptop, smartphone, other devices from getting infected by malware? And let's start with the topic program updates. Program updates in generally are provided to close system vulnerabilities and to eliminate security risk of a program or of an application or of the operating system. So if you use older softwares which is not updated, then this is really a big security risk. The risk comes from the point that typically the vulnerabilities that are closed by such updates are publicly known. So attackers know that old systems have this vulnerability and then they can exploit them to infect a system with malware. So general advice, install updates as soon as such updates are available. Reason why such updates needed is that manufacturers do not find all errors of a software, of an application during the test phase. And so many security gaps became only known when the program is in use, when many people are using it, and then also such vulnerabilities are detected. Also, if an attack is detected that exploits this vulnerability, then the vendor immediately can try to close this security gap that results from that vulnerability and provide updates to also help you to secure this security gap on your system. So known security vulnerabilities can usually be closed, but smaller updates by smaller updates packets. If this more basically, then you have to step over to a new version of the program or to install the program completely. So currently, in the recent time, most programs automatically provide information on available updates, because it's really a serious thing. So if your system shows an update needs to be done, then please try to do this update as soon as possible. There are also helper applications that automatically check for updates for the installed software on your computer. Also antivirus programs check that installed software can be updated by new updates that are provided. So information is available, but you should follow the advice as soon there is the information available that the program needs to be updated, then do this. But with all the updates, you need to be careful. You need to be careful that it comes from a trustworthy source. Then sometimes attackers claim their malware as an update for the system. So every time check is really from the producer of a software, from a known company or from a trustworthy source where you take the update and from where you update your systems. Otherwise, I mentioned that cybercriminals often turn their malware as updates, and then it's very easy for them if you think you update your system, but in reality you install your malware, then they can do their work on your computer. I already mentioned antivirus software. Antivirus software is a very important type of program. It's a system that you need to install in your computer system, And the need of this antivirus software is it helps you to detect malware. It not only helps you to detect virus malware, it is a name for software that detects and then detects all malware which is installed on your computer system. So it detects not only viruses but also worms, trojans, spyware, scareware, and all the other malware types we have discussed and have introduced in our OpenHPI course. Sometimes people speak from, instead of antivirus, they speak from anti-malware software. It's more correct, but more popular is to speak of antivirus software. It is also possible, it's also able to monitor internet connections and warn you when you try to access an unsafe website. This could happen when you try to follow a link or others. So good antivirus software is not only to detect installed malware, it helps you also to prevent from malware infections. So the antivirus software should be mandatory, a mandatory component of each system to ensure that the system runs as secure as possible. How this antivirus software are working, we explain in an additional excursus on antivirus software. Backups, the next topic you should think of. Many malware attacks on the internet result in data loss or in data image. For example, if you remember ransomware, then the data are encrypted so that you no more has access to your data. In case of data loss due to malware or due to a damage of the operating system, the data can easily be restored using the previously created backup copy. It can be restored as better as more recent this backup was done. So important data, important personal data must be backed up regularly, not once a year, but you have to do it depending from the usage of your system once a week or even more often. And it is because it's so important, many systems offer automatic data backup at predefined intervals. But you need to be careful that the stored backup, possibly the encrypted backup, should be stored on an external media or should be stored in the cloud. Because if the attacker manages to gain access to your computer, then you can lose the data, even you can lose the backups. So important, you have to connect a special disk, or you have to do is with the cloud. You have to create a backup, and then you have to take care that it's no more this backup is no more connected to your system. Another tool which provides protective measures against malware are firewalls. What are firewalls doing? The firewalls monitor network connections, and they monitor all the traffic over the internet. So the firewalls checks all the incoming packets of your to your system, and so it can prevent unauthorized connection attempts. If someone, for example, from a known attacker site wants to connect to your system, the firewall can detect it. Additional protection is given by firewalls against network attacks, such attacks from backdoors or botnets. So if someone tries to connect to your computer because he was able to install a backdoor or he was able to install, to make it a bot in a botnet, then by means of firewalls, this can be detected. There are different types of firewalls. There are local firewalls, which are installed on your machine and only are able to check the traffic of your machine with the network. And other type is a network firewall, which checks all network traffic and is usually installed on connection nodes between the local network and the internet. So here with a network firewall, all the traffic is considered. In the case of local firewalls, exactly your systems and how you need your system, and all this information is taken to protect this special system. So in enterprise software, enterprise networks, you need both. You need firewalls on your system and you need network firewalls. How this technical work, how firewalls are able to monitor and to detect different malicious attacker or people that try to connect, this we will also explain in an extra course on firewall. Perhaps the most protective measure against malware is a healthy suspicion. Always be careful, because this is the most effective protection that could be done by yourself, with your knowledge, and you at the end are responsible to protect your system from malware attacks. So it is the best protection mechanisms, but the best technical protection mechanisms are no longer effective if you as a user open non-trustworthy content. If you open an attachment and in this way upload malware to your computer, or if you visit a malicious website and in this way open a door to upload a malware. So you are the one, in your hands is this to avoid a lot of possibilities for attacker to bring their malware to your system. So it starts when when you install a new software. Check where the software comes from. Who is the manufacturer? Who is the origin of the software? Is this a known and trustworthy vendor, or is it someone nobody heard about it? Do not follow simple recommendation, for example, in a spam mail or in a phishing mail, which says here it's a wonderful functionality that's provided by the software. You can download it here, and if you download, then of course you also download malware. Verify the signature of the software to be installed. Verify also the signature of the updates that you are the updates coming from the vendor of the software. This can be done automatically. It's a question of configuration. Then, if a warning appears, a manual verification is necessary. Another very important hint is what kind of software you should install on your system. And the advice is only install that software you really need. Why you should this? If you install unnecessary applications, then with the vulnerabilities of that unnecessary applications, you open doors for attacks. So additional feature or optional plugins, all they provide possibilities for the attacker to get their malware to your system or to attack your system. If you install that software you are needed, then it's justified because you need it. But software that's installed and not needed, which can be misused by the attacker to break in your system or to install malware, then this is completely unnecessary. and increases the risk without any improved use. And this particularly is true for your smartphone. Check which apps you have loaded from the app stores to your smartphone, and which of these apps you really need and use, which you have used in the last 2-3 weeks. And then think to deinstall applications you are not using. Then you should turn off active content like Flash, Java, ActiveX in the web browser. The reason is you should turn off by default, because these web programming tools open doors provide possibilities for a number of different attacks and intrusion opportunities. Eventually, it does no more look so nice and dynamically, but you close doors for the attackers to attack your system, to install malware on your system. Then we often already saw this when we discussed different types of malware. You should not open an email attachment if you not know the sender, or if you not expect that this sender sends you this kind of information. Open email attachments only if the sender is known and the text can be assigned to the sender, because and when an email with an attachment was expected. Otherwise, it's an easy way for an attacker to infect your system by hiding malware in that attachment. And then keep calm with often faked online warnings. You remember when we spoke about scareware, and a warning is shown to you, your system is infected, please do this. This is often a malware attack. It's often not real, and you should not immediately following what they propose you. So keep calm with such online warnings and request, particularly in case of request for payment and fines. And then check installed software and remove all unused programs. I already mentioned this as an important advice to make your system more secure. Let's mention some protective measures against malware for mobile devices. Mobile devices that become more and more common and also provide the possibility to connect to the internet and to run applications in the internet. So get your apps, get your applications only from trusted sources. So take the applications from official app stores, from Play Store, from Android, or from Apple's App Store. Be careful when you install a new app which not only have ratings or only have few ratings. Be careful, because this all provides an entrance to your system. And installing such an app is that you install also the eventually hidden malware inside the application. Keep apps and operating system of a mobile devices always up to date. This is the same like with your system. You should timely install available updates. One can see this. So on a regular way, you should completely restart your app, because in that way also operating systems updates are installed. Then this is true for systems, for computer systems, laptops, and also for mobile devices. Create backups. The system can be restored from an old backup in case of an infection, so it's not necessary to negotiate with the cyber criminals about paying something, about ransom. You can easily restore your system, taking the data out of the update. Then this is in particular important for applications on mobile devices. Grant apps only minimal permissions. It's possible to set up the permissions to which sources a new application can have access. One can do this in the phase of the startup, of the initial installation and startup of the settings, or you can go into the settings of your systems. They are available here. They are for all the applications. They are available that you can here design whether you allow an app the access to another system, to another application. And you know what is the app for, what are the functionality of the app. So you can select what kind of permissions the app needs to do its work. For example, Flashlight does not require access to the contact list. So it is often, if you check it on your device, and it's completely unnecessary. And the question is where this Flashlight app comes from. So a typical entrance, a typical way to attack your system, your mobile system by the attacker is to design apps with some functionality that needs to be nice to have, but inside inside are malware, and if such a Flashlight wants to access the contact list, then this is a good reason not to trust in this application, to assume that's a malware hidden, and completely deactivate this Flashlight app, or at least to restrict the protections. So these are the main protective measures against malware. Who is interested in technical understanding of antivirus programs and firewalls, there are some excursus, but the goal of this course, this OpenHPI course about cyber threats by malware, was to sensibilize you on the different types of malware and to help you to protect your system. Thank you for your attention.